Have you ever stared at the ceiling at 2 a.m., not sleepy at all, but strangely alive? Like your brain finally wakes up when everyone else sleeps? You're not lazy. You're not broken. You just might be a night owl. And science says there's more to it than you think. Chapter 1. When the world sleeps and you don't. Have you ever wondered why you seem to feel more creative, more thoughtful, or just more awake when it's already midnight? While others are already deep into their dreams, your mind is busy. Your thoughts feel louder. You suddenly remember things. You imagine new ideas. Sometimes you feel the most you in the stillness of the night. You are not alone. Night owls exist all around the world. In fact, around 30% of people identify themselves as night people, or in science terms, people with a late chronotype. Chronotype is a fancy word that means your natural body clock. Some people are early birds, some are in between, and some are night owls. It's not just a habit, it's biology. Let's break it down. What is a chronotype? Your chronotype is your personal internal clock. It decides when you naturally feel sleepy or alert. Scientists say that this clock is controlled by the circadian rhythm, a 24-hour cycle that tells your body when to wake up, eat, and sleep. Here's where it gets interesting. Your chronotype is partly genetic. That's right. If you're a night owl, you might have inherited it from your parents. In 2019, a massive study looked at the DNA of over 700,000 people and found that certain genes are linked to being a morning or night person. This means your nighttime energy might actually be written in your DNA. Your body has its own clock. Inside your brain, there's a small region called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN. It's like the body's master clock. It controls when your body makes melatonin, the sleepy hormone. For night owls, melatonin gets released later in the evening. That's why you don't feel tired at 9 p.m. like others might. Instead, you get your boost around midnight or later. In fact, studies show that night owls often feel more alert and mentally sharper in the evening. Their body temperature rises, their brain is more active, and their reaction time improves. It's like their system is built for the night. Night owls and brain power. Here's something cool. Research from the University of Liège in Belgium compared brain scans of night owls and early birds. The results? Night owls had better attention and faster processing speed at night than early birds did in the morning. But here's the downside. School and work often start early. This mismatch is called social jet lag. It's when your body clock is out of sync with your daily schedule. This can lead to poor sleep, tiredness, and even mental health issues over time. But why is the night so peaceful? Now, let's talk about the magic of nighttime. The quiet, the stillness, the dark skies. Why do so many people say they can think clearer at night? Psychologists believe that the night gives you mental space. There are fewer distractions, no emails, no chores, no traffic. Your brain has time to reflect, dream, and feel. Also, the hormone cortisol, which is linked to stress, is usually lower at night. That's why you may feel calmer and more focused. Your mind can wander in peace. For many, night becomes a time of self-connection. The creative side of the night. Did you know that some of the most creative people in history were night owls? Franz Kafka, the writer, worked from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. Bob Dylan wrote many of his songs late at night. Even Barack Obama said he preferred working at night when the world was quiet. It's not just random. The brain's default mode network, which sparks imagination and deep thoughts, becomes more active during restful times like late at night. That's why night owls often have more creative ideas. Night owls notice more. At night, your senses are sharper. The silence makes every sound clearer. The dim lights make every shadow deeper. Your brain becomes more aware. It notices little things. It feels deeper emotions. It's like your mind is tuned in to a different frequency. So, is being a night owl a bad thing? Not at all. The world might be built for morning people, but night owls have their own strengths. The key is to listen to your body and create a schedule that works for you, even if it's different. You are not lazy. You're just wired differently. And in this chapter, we explored how your brain, body, and heart come alive when the rest of the world sleeps.
Chapter 2. The Hidden Strengths of Night Owls. Let's go deeper. In Chapter 1, we talked about how your body and brain naturally come alive at night. But now, let's look at something even more powerful. What makes night owls strong in ways people don't always see? Because in a world that praises early risers, night owls are often misunderstood. They're called lazy, unmotivated, or even undisciplined. But science tells us that's not the full story. Are night owls smarter? Let's start with the big question. Are night owls smarter? Several studies suggest that people who stay up late tend to score higher on intelligence tests. For example, a study published in Personality and Individual Differences found that people with higher IQs were more likely to be night owls. But why? Scientists believe it's because being awake at night may require more creativity, independence, and flexibility. Night owls tend to solve problems differently, often using divergent thinking, which means coming up with many different ideas instead of one correct answer. This type of thinking is often linked to artists, writers, designers, and inventors. Night owls are more self-aware. The quiet of the night invites something rare in our noisy world: reflection. Night owls often spend more time thinking deeply about their thoughts, choices, and feelings. This is called metacognition, basically thinking about your own thinking. Studies have found that night owls tend to be more open to new experiences and more emotionally aware. This may be why many journal, write, or create at night. The world feels safer in the dark. This might sound strange, but hear this. Some people feel emotionally safer at night. The pressure of the world fades. The deadlines, the noise, the eyes watching you, they're gone. You can finally just exist. That feeling of being alone but not lonely? It gives night owls a kind of emotional freedom. In psychology, this is linked to stimulus reduction. When the world gets quiet, your brain isn't distracted anymore. It becomes easier to feel what you're feeling and process your thoughts. For introverts or people with social anxiety, this time becomes a space to heal. Night owls can be more persistent. Here's something unexpected. A study from the University of Madrid found that night owls may be more persistent in reaching long-term goals. While morning people might start tasks earlier, night owls were more likely to stick with challenges and take creative risks. Why? Because staying up late in a world that runs early teaches you how to adapt. Night owls learn how to make time work for them. They learn self-reliance, patience, and how to work alone. These are powerful tools in any kind of work. Night owls in the workplace. You might think night owls struggle at work, and sometimes they do. But when they find jobs that match their rhythm, they shine. Night owls do well in careers like creative writing, music and performing arts, graphic design and video editing, coding and software development, freelancing, night shift medical work, content creation and streaming. In these jobs, being up late isn't a weakness, it's a superpower. And many night owls become entrepreneurs. They value freedom and work better when they control their schedule. But night owls face real challenges too. Let's be real. Being a night owl in an early bird world can be tough. Some of the struggles include poor sleep quality, morning fatigue, skipping breakfast or rushing through the day, feeling misunderstood, being seen as unprofessional. And there are mental health risks too. Studies have found that night owls are more likely to experience anxiety or depression, mostly because of sleep deprivation or social mismatch. This is why learning to manage your time, setting boundaries, and creating healthy nighttime routines is so important. How night owls can thrive. You don't have to change who you are. You just have to understand yourself. Here's science-backed tips for night owls. 1. Use the night wisely. Avoid mindless scrolling. Use your peak time for creativity, work, or journaling. 2. Set a sleep routine. Even if it's late, make your sleep regular. Go to bed at the same time every night. 3. Block morning commitments. If you can, start work later or choose flexible hours. 4. Use light carefully. Avoid bright lights an hour before bed. In the morning, step into sunlight to help reset your clock. 5. Don't skip meals. Night owls often eat late. Try to eat balanced meals and hydrate well. 6. Talk about it. Let people know you're a night owl, especially at work. Sometimes people just need to understand. Embracing who you are. Being a night owl isn't about being lazy. It's about being different. And difference is beautiful. So many great thinkers, creators, and leaders were night owls. They listened to their rhythm. They created at night. They built their dreams when the rest of the world was asleep. Maybe you're one of them.
Chapter 3. What happens in your brain at night? You've probably noticed it before. Your thoughts get louder at night. Your emotions feel deeper. Your memories feel closer. And suddenly, the whole world feels like it's slowed down just for you. But why does this happen? In this chapter, we're diving inside your brain. We'll explore the science behind why nighttime brings clarity, creativity, sadness, restlessness, and sometimes even peace. Because this isn't just a feeling. It's biology, and it's fascinating. The brain's night shift mode. First, let's understand the circadian rhythm again. We touched on this earlier. It's your body's natural clock that controls when you feel awake and when you feel sleepy. But the rhythm isn't just about energy. It also controls your brain's mental activity. At night, especially between 9 p.m. and 2 a.m., your brain begins to rewire itself. This process is called memory consolidation, when your brain sorts through what you learned that day. That's why you often remember things more clearly when you reflect at night. Your brain is already organizing everything behind the scenes. Think of it like this. Your brain is cleaning up the desktop of your mind while you're still using it. Default mode network, your nighttime thinking. Have you ever heard of the default mode network? This is a group of brain areas that activate when you're resting and not focused on the outside world. It kicks in when you're daydreaming, imagining, remembering, or just lost in your thoughts. At night, when things are quiet and your phone is finally down, your default mode network becomes more active. That's why your brain drifts from one memory to another. You start making connections between random thoughts. This is where your most creative, honest, and emotional thinking happens. It's also why we often feel things more deeply at night. The network brings up your past, your fears, your desires, your regrets, and your dreams. Why you feel emotions stronger at night. Let's be honest, nights can hit hard. A small thought can spiral into anxiety. A memory can become a flood. A sentence from someone earlier suddenly feels deeper. This happens because your amygdala, the part of your brain that processes emotions like fear and sadness, becomes more sensitive when you're tired. A study from the University of California found that sleep-deprived people showed a 60% increase in emotional reactivity in the amygdala. That means your brain reacts more strongly to emotions when you're low on rest or when it's late. So it's not just in your head, it's how your brain is wired. Dopamine and late-night motivation. Ever feel super motivated at night to start a new project, learn a skill, or finally change your life? That's dopamine talking. Dopamine is your brain's reward chemical. It helps you feel motivated, excited, and driven. Night owls often experience a spike in dopamine levels during late-night hours. This is especially true if you're doing something stimulating, like watching videos, playing games, or planning big dreams. Your brain says, "This feels good, let's keep going." But here's the twist. Dopamine also makes it harder to stop. That's why many people stay up past their bedtime, binge-watching, scrolling, or thinking. Nighttime and deep learning. Have you noticed you absorb things better at night? It's not a myth. Late hours are often when your brain is most receptive to abstract and deep learning. Especially for people who are more active at night, their prefrontal cortex, which handles decision-making and problem-solving, lights up better in the evening. So if you've ever found yourself learning a new concept, working on art, or writing your thoughts in the middle of the night, it's because your brain is genuinely more awake in those moments. Why sleep feels so far away.
Ever feel super tired but still can't sleep? Your body might be ready to rest, but your brain is still processing. This is called cognitive arousal, when your thoughts are too active for sleep to begin. This is why journaling, reading, or meditation can help. They quiet your cognitive arousal, calming the brain down before sleep. The beauty of night thinking. Nighttime thinking has a special kind of wisdom. When you're surrounded by stillness, when no one is watching, and when the day's expectations fall away, your mind finally has space to speak. You remember what matters. You reflect on who you are. You feel your pain, but also your hope. This is what night owls experience all the time. And it's not weakness, it's emotional awareness. But be careful, the line between reflection and rumination. Here's something important. Reflection is when you learn from your thoughts. Rumination is when you get stuck in them. Many people get trapped in a loop of overthinking at night, replaying moments, imagining worst-case scenarios, or blaming themselves. This often leads to insomnia, anxiety, or depression. To stay mentally healthy, try this. Write it down. Dump your thoughts into a journal. Talk it out. If something is stuck in your head, share it with a friend. Set a time limit. Allow yourself 20 minutes to reflect. Then switch gears. Use grounding techniques. Name 5 things you can see, hear, or touch. It brings you back to the present. Nighttime thinking can heal or harm. It depends on how you guide it. Let your brain be your friend. The brain is not your enemy. It's a mirror, a teacher, a memory keeper, and a dreamer. It wants to help you understand your world. And for many of us, night is when the brain becomes most honest. So next time your thoughts come alive at 2 a.m., don't be afraid. Sit with them, listen, learn, and remember, you're not alone in this. Millions of night owls across the world are doing the same thing. In the same silence, under the same sky. Chapter 4. Living as a night owl in a 9-to-5 world. You've stayed with us through the science, the psychology, and the emotions of nighttime. But now comes the most personal part of all. How do you live as a night owl in a world built for morning people? Because, let's face it, the world wakes up early. Classes start at 7 a.m., offices open at 8. Life seems designed for people who rise with the sun. But what if that's not you? What if you feel most alive when the world sleeps? Let's talk about what that means and how you can thrive anyway. Society favors early risers, but it doesn't mean you're lazy. From childhood, we've been told that early to bed and early to rise is the golden rule. Morning people are praised as productive, disciplined, and successful. And if you're not like that, you've probably heard it all. You're just lazy. You waste your mornings. You'll never get anywhere staying up late. But here's the truth, backed by research. Being a night owl isn't laziness, it's biological. It's not a failure of character. It's a chronotype, just like being left-handed or right-handed. Night owls simply have a delayed sleep phase, meaning their bodies naturally want to sleep and wake later. In fact, studies have shown that these rhythms are genetic. You're not broken, you're just different. The science backs you up. A study published in the journal Sleep found that night owls perform better on memory and processing tasks in the evening hours compared to early birds. Another study from the University of Madrid linked night owls to higher scores in creative thinking and cognitive flexibility. This means you're more adaptable in chaotic or novel situations. You solve problems with more innovation. You think outside the box. That's not failure, that's power. The real problem, social jet lag. But even if your brain thrives at night, the outside world doesn't always allow you to live on your natural schedule. Waking up early for school or work forces your body to operate on someone else's time. This misalignment causes something called social jet lag. Social jet lag is like having constant mini jet lag without traveling. Your body wants to sleep at 2 a.m., but you have to be up by 6. This mismatch can lead to sleep deprivation, mood swings, poor focus, higher risk of depression. And worse, it creates shame, making you feel like you're doing life wrong. But what if you could stop fighting it and start working with it? How to navigate life as a night owl. You may not be able to change your school or job schedule, but there are things you can do. 1. Find your power hours. Track when your brain feels most alert and creative. Use those hours for your hardest tasks, even if it's late at night. That's your edge. 2. Shift gradually. If you must wake up earlier, don't shock your body. Shift your sleep time by 15 to 30 minutes each night. It's like easing your body across time zones. 3. Control light exposure. Light tells your body what time it is. Use blue light in the morning to help you wake up, and dim your lights at night to signal sleep. 4. Advocate for yourself. If possible, request flexible hours, remote work, or shift-based jobs. Many creative, tech, or freelance roles allow late-night schedules. Your rhythm deserves respect. Night owls who changed the world. You're in good company. Famous night owls include Winston Churchill, who worked deep into the night; Franz Kafka, who wrote his novels in the quiet hours; Barack Obama, known for midnight strategy sessions; Bob Dylan, who wrote some of his best lyrics after dark. The world has been shaped by people who thrived outside the clock. You're not a misfit. You're part of a legacy. How to use your night energy for good. Now, let's take this deeper. Being a night owl gives you solitude, silence, room to breathe. How you use that time can either heal you or trap you. Here's what you can try. Night journaling. Reflect without judgment. Let your mind spill. Mindful creating. Paint, write, build, design. Use your imagination while the world is asleep. Learning. Dive into quiet reading, language learning, or new skills. Service. Some night owls start blogs, podcasts, or channels that help others who also can't sleep. Your aliveness at night is a gift. Share it. Be gentle with yourself. Most importantly, stop punishing yourself for being wired differently. You don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. to be valuable. You don't need to be asleep by 10 p.m. to be balanced. You don't need to match anyone else's timeline. You are allowed to grow, learn, grieve, rest, and succeed on your own clock. Let's pause for a moment. If you've been listening this far, it means something inside you resonates with the night. Maybe it feels like home. Maybe it's when you're most honest with yourself. Maybe it's when you feel most like you. So tonight, as the world sleeps, know this. Your quiet is powerful. Your thoughts matter. Your rhythm is real. And you are not alone. The night doesn't make you broken. It makes you reflective. It makes you creative. It makes you awake in a world that often forgets how to feel. So stay kind, stay curious, stay you. Because in the silence of night, your truth becomes the loudest voice.